So we have been talking about autonomous drive or semi-autonomous drive and assistance systems with passenger cars at Autogefühl. But what about trucks? This one here is the all-new Freightliner Cascadia 5.0, and today we'll take a look at the assistance systems, this so-called level 2 autonomous drive, what this truck is capable of and what it means for our all safety. Here on Autogefühl, your number one resource for in-depth car reviews and your number one community to discuss cars, with Thomas, just outside from Las Vegas, Nevada. And we'll join this truck here with an expert and do an extensive driving demo. I can promise you, it is very interesting. Let's go.
Welcome to the new Cascadia with Detroit Assurance 5.0 Safety Suite. We're going to start some demonstrations right now. My name is Suman Narayanan. I'm the engineering manager responsible for advanced driver assistance and safety. Today we'll start by looking at Side Guard Assist. Side Guard Assist is a feature that uses two short-range radars that is mounted on the passenger side of the vehicle. It scans the entire length of the tractor and the trailer. It makes sure that if there are any objects on the blind spot of the driver, it picks up the object and then alerts the driver. So here we have one of our colleagues in a bicycle, and here you can see in the instrument cluster, there's a little warning triangle. The warning triangle turns yellow when there is an object detected in the truck's blind spot. If the truck driver puts the indicators on, it turns red and issues an optic acoustic warning also. And this feature is very useful when you think about navigating a truck through urban traffic or through city conditions. We will also now see Anastasia, who's one of our colleagues, who will act as a pedestrian. The short-range radar picks up not just bicyclists, but it will also pick up pedestrians. Here you can see that as soon as Anastasia comes into the truck's blind spot, the warning triangle turns yellow. And when the driver puts his or her turn indicators on, it alerts, indicating that there is someone in the blind spot. We strongly believe that this feature will greatly help navigate the truck through urban traffic. Next, we will exit the parking lot and we will go into the on-highway conditions, where we will experience adaptive cruise control to 0 and some of the lane keeping and lane centering aspects of it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Suman, already for having us here.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure.
He's great, right? I don't have to say anything, so just enjoy him, and then that's it, basically.
Thanks for the opportunity. This is exciting for us to demonstrate and show what the engineering team in Stuttgart, in Tokyo, and in Portland have developed. It's a global product designed with all of Daimler trucks, and we are very proud to launch it here at CES in Las Vegas, Nevada.
So the Cascadia 4.0, it already had the autonomous emergency brake?
The Detroit Assurance is the Safety Suite's product name. The Detroit Assurance Safety Suite has evolved. 2.0 was the first product that we launched in the classic Cascadia. We launched the 4.0 2 years ago, and that had the automated emergency brake and adaptive cruise control, both of which make sure that the vehicle stays protected, either in a safe following distance, or it makes sure that there is collision mitigation in the longitudinal direction. So that's what we refer to as stage 1 automated vehicle. With the Detroit Assurance 5.0 on new Cascadia, We also have added the lateral control, which is the side-to-side control of the vehicle,
And the blind spot.
and the blind spot and the side guard assist feature, making it a level 2 automated vehicle. So now we have hit what I would consider as a highway driving conditions. I have enabled my adaptive cruise control. I've set it to 55 miles per hour, and you can see that there is a blue steering wheel icon on the instrument cluster indicating that the lane keep assist functionality is active. Lane keep assist uses the camera to recognize the lane markings, and we have a servo assisted steering gear. We call it the adaptive power steering, and that makes sure that we get small corrective input to the steering wheel. So just for the sake of demonstration, I would let go of the steering wheel so you can see what the system is doing. At no point of time the driver should take his or her hands off the steering wheel. This is purely for you to see what the system's capabilities are. The camera is constantly monitoring the lane markings in the front, and we know our position with respect to the lane marking, and we give small corrective input to the steering wheel. And if the vehicle detects that there is no hands on the steering wheel, it starts warning the driver by putting a pop-up and also an audible alert asking the driver to put the hands back on the steering wheel and engage back into the driving activity.
Yeah, because level 3, which would be the step further, is not allowed anywhere yet. So the regulations everywhere are like level 2, and that's it. Besides maybe some prototype stuff, but in general regulations it's level 2 at the moment. And level 2 is when you combine, both axles, by the way, like side and also like braking and accelerating. If you just have one, it would be level 1 only.
Exactly, yes. The longitudinal, which we call as the distance control, that would be the level 1 automated, and the lateral control, which is one that we have added with active lane assist functionality. So now the vehicle in front of us is doing roughly 55 miles per hour, and the driver does not really have to work too much except make sure that he covers the brake pedal. We always want to make sure that the driver is attentive, not depend on these systems and disengage from the driving activity. The driver also needs to make sure that he or she has her hands on the steering wheel. These systems are driver assistance systems. They're not supposed to be treated as if they can be completely depended on. So now the vehicle in front of us slowed down to roughly 40 miles per hour. We didn't have to do anything. The camera and the radar picks up the object, fuses the input, and we are able to make the determination how to make sure that we stay at the safe following distance with the vehicle.
So actually your CEO, I talked to him earlier, he said that actually 90% of the human indicated accidents could be prevented by those systems. So what do you think? How significant is it for safety on the roads already to have those systems?
It is 90% is a great number that Roger had mentioned. I'm sure that there are anecdotal evidence to that. One of the key indicators that we in engineering get is the feedback from our customers. We do all the tests. We do a lot of reliability tests, over the road and track tests, but the main feedback that we get is from the customers. Over the years, we have constantly gotten positive feedback. We get videos back from customers saying, good job. As a result of your system, we were able to prevent or mitigate these accidents. So it is definitely sure that systems like adaptive cruise control, active brake assist, and now lane keep assist and side guard assist, they all have positive impact when it comes to reducing or in fact eliminating some of these accidents on our highways.
Yeah, I mean, we all know it also just from our passenger cars, how nice it can actually be to have the adaptive cruise control. I mean, especially in traffic situations, but also just on like boring highway routes maybe when you also get a little bit tired or something.
Right.
And I mean, if you then think about the truck driver who's really like doing it as just for the job driving all day, that's even more crucial, I think.
Exactly, well said on that. Some of the truck drivers spend close to 8+ hours behind the wheels of a truck, and you can imagine the drives could be monotonous, as you said, and we want to make sure that we enhance the driver's quality of life. Some of us in the engineering, we say that driver is our hero in this whole equation. We not only add safety to not just the truck, but people around the truck. we also want to make sure that the quality of the driver's life is enhanced by these systems. And now the vehicle in front of us is going to slow down and come to a full stop. And you can see that for the purpose of demonstration, I'm going to keep my foot off the brake so that you can see that the vehicle is completely being brought to a standstill by the system. You can see that the engine is now defueling and you start hearing the engine brakes kick in. The transmission is smart enough to detect what gear it needs to be at. And then the foundation brakes kick in, maintaining a safe distance to the vehicle in front. And this is extremely useful when you think about a stop and go kind of traffic conditions. Here, Karen, our colleague, is going to stop there. Cool. And without my foot on the brakes, the vehicle can hold the brakes even on an incline or a decline.
So it's automatically also accelerating again now.
Correct. Karen, in this case, left. I need to take over right now because I have to make a complete turn.
Yeah.
Karen stopped for less than 2 seconds in this scenario. So whenever the stop is less than 2 seconds, we relaunch and move forward.
Yeah.
If the stop is longer than 2 seconds, we don't know what happened around the truck. For example, someone might want to cut in, or a bicyclist or a motorcyclist might have come in front of us. So at that point, we want to make sure that the driver is responsible for relaunching the vehicle.
And then it also reduces the speed until 0. That's also new with the Cascadia 5.0 now.
That is correct. With Detroit Assurance 4.0, which was our safety suite, prior to that.
That's a good horn, right?
That is a good one. So with the Detroit Assurance 4.0, our cruise control did not have any higher speed limit, but it would drop out at lower speeds. And with 5.0, we have expanded the adaptive cruise control range to all speeds, including standstill. And if you think about adaptive cruise control, it is, in addition to being a safety feature, it is also a comfort feature. The whole vehicle approaches the target very smoothly, therefore preserving not just the comfort of the driver, but also acts in a very fuel efficient way. So now we are back and I have set my cruise control to 55 miles per hour. And the steering wheel icon turned from gray to blue, indicating that there is enough clear lane markings in front of the truck. And now the lane keep assist is active, enabling the driver to not just stay with a safe following distance, but also stay centered within his or her lane. After we cross this hill, I will demonstrate a functionality called lane departure protection, which is also a new feature introduced within the Detroit Assurance 5.0.
So what do you think? How will the job of a truck driver also change when new assistance systems come?
I personally think that driver assistance systems are enhancing the quality of drivers' lives. It enhances the operational efficiency of the truck itself. At the end of the day, the fleets or whoever is benefiting from moving the freight can see that there is a lot of benefit operating it at efficient speed. And the drivers benefit greatly because now, at the end of their shift, their fatigue level is going to be significantly less.
So far as I understand it, the autonomous emergency brake and the ACC is both standard with the vehicle.
That is correct.
And optional then the blind spot monitor and the lane keep assist is also optional. So
those are additional features. As a basic feature within Detroit Assurance 5.0, we have the active brake assist. That's when the system determines there is an object in front. It also works on stationary objects and moving pedestrians. We are able to pick them up and apply full braking. And then we have the adaptive cruise control, which we already had with 4.0, but we are expanding the speed range all the way down to 0. And the optional packages are side guard assist and the active lane assist, which is the lane keep assist. And now I will demonstrate to you the lane departure protection. For the lane departure protection, I'm going to take over and cancel cruise control so you can see that it works even when you're not in cruise control. So I'm going to cancel cruise control and I'm now fully driving with my foot on the pedal, just so that you know that it works at all cases. Now there is no lateral control because the driver is manually steering. But for some reason, if the vehicle starts to drift, you have a one-time corrective action that the steering wheel does, in addition to a rumble strip noise that is issued in the door speaker. So this is very helpful also when the driver is not on adaptive cruise control and the driver is probably wanting to drive with the foot on the pedal. You have these systems enable. I'm going to engage this so that we can slow down and get some distance.
Sure.
And I'll cancel cruise control now.
And that one, like the one that you just showed,
Yeah.
is that one also standard, or is it also a part of the optional package?
So the standard package is only active brake assist
Yes.
and adaptive cruise control.
Okay.
And then you also have some camera functions like traffic sign recognition and intelligent high beam control. Those are all part of the basic Detroit Assurance 5.0 package. When you add the active lane assist, which requires a steering gear that can take the response and then give torque input to the steering, that's when you get the lane centering, which we call as lane keep assist, and then the lane departure protection, which is a corrective steering wheel input that we get. And then you have the other option, which is the side guard assist, which is enabled by two short-range radars that is mounted on the passenger side of the vehicle.
So I guess, I mean, it is of course additional costs then for some part, or for the fleet manager, for example. But probably the safety systems will pay off at some point, you know, because when you have less accidents and, you know, less non-running time,
Right.
it will probably cost you nothing, or even like it will gain you money because you just have the safety and, you know, just more reliability that your truck can run all the time. Yeah.
Definitely, the advantages of safety systems goes beyond just saving lives and being safe. There is definitely a bottom line impact when we operate trucks efficiently and safely. We have gotten feedback where customers have told that their operational efficiency is enhanced. And you can imagine if there is no benefit, you would not see the acceptance in the market. We have continued to see growing acceptance in the driver assistance, not just within our brand, but industry-wide. And that indicates that, yes, active safety systems have a positive impact on the bottom line. It enhances driver quality, and above all, it saves lives, which is a great reason to invest.
And I think it's also good that you make, you know, at least half of the whole systems standard equipment, because in Europe it's meanwhile mandatory that you have the autonomous emergency brake in trucks. You have to have it, but you don't have to have it in the US, as far as I know.
Correct.
So it's basically then you do that on a voluntary basis.
Correct.
Yeah.
The mandate does not exist for us to have a collision mitigation system at different levels, but Daimler's commitment to safety is very clear. We want to not just be the benchmark in introducing new safety features. We also want to make sure that the proliferation or the spread of these safety systems helps not just one brand or not just one company, but society in general. So Daimler's commitment to safety is one of the big reasons why we decided to go Detroit Assurance Basic Package as standard in all our vehicles. Okay, we are going to experience Active Brake Assist 5, ABA 5 as we call it. We're going to approach a stationary target. It's a balloon car. We use that for testing and demonstration purpose. I'll try to hit about 30 to 35 miles per hour, and then we will just approach towards the target and see what happens. Right?
Looking forward to it. So the basic assistance systems are it's the same technology in the passenger and in the truck, right? The technology is the same.
Very similar. The sensors used in the passenger car and the trucking are very similar. We use a radar and the camera. Input from both the radar and the camera are fused, and then we take the decision as to what to do. In this case, we are looking at the object in front of us. Both the radar and the camera is picking up the target in front, and then it starts warning the driver, and then it applies 2 levels of braking.
So I think he's not touching the brakes. Whoa!
The system does experience quite high deceleration. What you saw there was optic acoustic warning is the first stage, after which it goes into a warn braking phase, still allowing the driver to take over and do whatever is necessary. And then the final stage is a full emergency brake, bringing the vehicle to a full stop. And you also heard the horn and the flashers.
Yeah.
Whenever we're bringing a vehicle to a full stop, we want to make sure we want the environment.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, you've probably seen. We can rewind and take this camera and then see me how I reacted, because I mean, I know this is just the test obstacle, but when you are sitting in a truck here, it's something completely different. You get more scared, you know, than being in a passenger car.
Absolutely.
More G-force applied because of the weight, and also like, when at some slower speeds, you hit something or someone with a car. I mean, you can maybe get away with minor injuries, but at the same speed with a truck, it's about life and death.
Exactly.
So
the mass that is there in the truck, the energy that is there in the truck, we have to bring it down to zero very quickly.
Yeah,
So.
I think that's even more important than to have it in the truck basically than in the passenger car. So wow, that was really impressive. So that was like 35 miles per hour.
That is correct. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was 35 miles per hour for demonstration. We are doing it in a track using a soft balloon target.
Cool. So that worked. And it's also working when a pedestrian or cyclist or something would also work. Or?
ABA 5.0 looks for moving pedestrians. So typically when someone is crossing the road, those are the conditions where we are able to pick up a moving pedestrian and we are able to bring the vehicle to a stop, just like how we experienced.
Yeah. And moving cyclists as well?
Yeah, exactly. Moving cyclists as well are picked up. And then we start issuing an optic acoustic warning, giving the driver a chance to take over. If the driver is still not responding to the warning and the criticality of the situation, we act on the driver's behalf.
But if there would be now just the optic, it would be a standing still pedestrian or a standing still cyclist. Would that also work, or is that the limit of the system?
That is the limit of the system. We do not, if there is a stationary pedestrian out there with no movement, we do not have the capability to pick up and apply.
Okay, so it needs to have like a certain size, basically.
It needs to have certain movement and certain attributes. We are using sensors like the radar and the camera that are looking for certain attributes. All sensors have limitations, as you know. If the visibility is compromised, camera is not the best sensor, but radar has high advantages even under low visibility conditions. So that is why we take the input from both the radar and the camera and try to fuse it so that we can get the best of both.
So like a standing motorcycle, for example, would also be a problem then?
Motorcyclists and cyclists, it is hard to give an answer because the reflections coming out of a motorcyclist and the cyclist when it comes to radar reflections depends on how strong the reflections are. There are situations where we have had successfully detected motorcyclists and cyclists. However, it also depends on if it is a bicyclists whose reflections are not strong enough. We do have limitations, not by just one sensor, but all the sensors combined.
Well, maybe we meet again here in 5 years, and then we'll have a pedestrian dummy here, some standing still, and maybe it works then.
Wonderful, yeah. We always look forward to upping our game, so we can't wait for it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.